You didn't find this video, it found you. Let's get one thing clear. This isn't your algorithm. This is alignment. That quiet unrest you've been feeling, the pull you can't quite explain, this message is the response you've been unknowingly asking for. This video shows up when the noise gets too loud, when your reality starts to crack just enough for the truth to sneak through. If you're here, you're not lost. You're on the edge of remembering. Part 1. The signal beneath the noise. Most people don't realize they're searching until something whispers back. The whisper. You almost ignored you weren't supposed to click on this video. Not in the traditional sense, because this isn't about clicks. This is about calls, a strange feeling, a subtle tug. Maybe it happened this morning, or yesterday, or 5 years ago. A moment when you stared at the ceiling and whispered, "There has to be more than this." No one heard it, but something did. And here you are, not because of a suggestion, not because of an algorithm, because a question from within you finally got loud enough for the universe to answer. 2. Beneath the world we call normal. Let's be honest. You've been moving through life, checking the boxes, work, relationships, accomplishments, struggles. Maybe you've even done the work, read the books, watch the seminars, tried the meditations, but something's still missing, right? It's not that your life is broken, it's just misaligned. You feel the dissonance, the static. You can't point to it. You can't explain it at dinner parties. But deep in your bones, something feels out of tune. And the worst part, no one else seems to notice, but you do. And that awareness, however uncomfortable, is not a flaw. It's a frequency. You're not breaking. You're beginning to hear. 3. Beyond the noise. Finding the source. The modern world is full of distractions dressed up as directions. Productivity hacks, trending ideas, motivational quotes. They promise change, fast, loud, visible change. But change doesn't begin with volume. It begins with vibration. You've likely been taught that life is outside in. Fix your body, fix your finances, fix your timeline. Then, and only then, you'll feel aligned. But it never works that way, does it? Because life was never designed to be adjusted from the surface. It's tuned, like an instrument, from the inside out. And your tuning fork is your attention. What you pay attention to, you feed. What you feed becomes real. And what becomes real shapes the world you move through. 4th, subtle patterns, sacred signals. Have you ever noticed the pattern? You're thinking about someone, and they text. You're feeling down, and a song plays with exactly the words you needed to hear. You look at the clock, and it's 11:11. Again. Most people shrug these off, but the ones who wake up, they start paying attention. Because the universe is not random. It's relational. It's not broadcasting to you. It's responding to you. These aren't lucky breaks or coincidences. They're echoes, intelligent ones, bouncing back the vibration you're putting out. The quieter you become, the more clearly you hear them. The language of resonance. If you've made it this far, let's go deeper. You've heard the phrase, energy doesn't lie, right? It's more than a meme. It's quantum fact. You are an electromagnetic field of emotion, thought, and frequency. And everything around you, people, places, events, are vibrating too. What you feel, you attract. What you fear, you often repeat. What you align with becomes real. But here's the twist. Your vibration isn't what you post. It isn't what you say. It's what you are when no one's looking. It's the emotion beneath the smile, the tension behind the affirmation. It's your silent signal, and the universe hears it perfectly. 6. You're already broadcasting. Imagine the world as one massive feedback loop. Everything you experience is a mirror, not of your desires, but of your resonance. That's why some people walk into a room and everyone lights up, without saying a word. Why others seem to encounter obstacle after obstacle, even when they're doing everything right. Because energy doesn't listen to your words. It listens to your state. If you're vibrating in lack, the universe brings you more things to feel lacking about. If you're vibrating in peace, the outer world begins to soften subtly around you. This is not punishment. It's not karma. It's not some esoteric system designed to confuse you. It's a mirror. That's all. And mirrors don't argue. They reflect. Chapter 7. The dissonance is the invitation that discomfort you've been carrying, that hum of anxiety you can't shake, even on your good days. That's not failure. That's feedback. You're outgrowing the reality you've been conditioned into. The job that used to make you feel successful now makes you feel robotic. The relationship that once gave you comfort now feels like a cage. The city, the scroll, the schedule, all of it feels off. Good, because what you're feeling is not the end. It's the beginning of signal clarity. 8. Life doesn't shout, it echoes. Here's the truth nobody told you. Reality doesn't transform because you demand it. It transforms because you've aligned with the version of you that no longer needs to force it. When you're tuned to resonance, your outer life reorganizes. Not all at once, not in fireworks, but subtly, consistently, and irreversibly. That's when you stop chasing signs and start becoming one. That's when people start saying things like, "You seem different lately. You look lighter. What changed?" And you'll smile because you'll know nothing outside changed. You changed. The threshold. You're standing on this moment, yes, right now, is a threshold. And thresholds aren't meant to be studied. They're meant to be crossed. Maybe that's what brought you here. Not a YouTube suggestion, but a soul suggestion. Maybe something inside you whispered, "Watch this." Something is waiting. And maybe that something wasn't in the video at all. Maybe it was you, remembering. The question isn't what happens next. The question is, will you walk through? X. The invitation. You don't need to solve your whole life today. You don't need a vision board, or a 10-year plan, or a 5 a.m. routine. You just need presence. To begin noticing the energetic threads you've ignored, to tune into the pattern beneath the panic, to stop asking the world to change before you've changed the way you look at it. This is your call to remember, you are not here to react, you are here to resonate. The static is dissolving, the frequency is sharpening. You're not watching this video, you're remembering who you are. If this stirred something in you, name it. Comment, "I feel the signal," or don't. The point isn't the click, it's the clarity. When you're aligned, you won't have to seek the next step. It'll arrive on its own frequency, right on time, just like this one did. Part 2. You are the code. You were never just living in a story. You were writing it all along. I. The truth hidden in plain sight. Let's start here. Everything you see around you, the chaos, the beauty, the mundane, the magical, it isn't just happening, it's responding, not to your words, not to your efforts, but to your signal. And here's the twist most never realize. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are its programmer. The question isn't, how do I control life? The real question is, what script am I unconsciously running? Because you are the code, and the world, it's your mirror. Tuning beyond the illusion of control. Most people live their entire lives believing that life is done to them, that they're a bystander in a movie someone else wrote. They react, they cope, they wait, they hustle for approval, they strive for security. They build lives that look impressive, but feel hollow. Why? Because they're trying to override the output without ever changing the source code. That's like trying to fix a movie by yelling at the screen. It doesn't work. To change the film, you have to enter the projector room. You have to get into the matrix, the internal system that's shaping the reality you see, and that's where you come in. 3. Your thoughts are not private. Here's something most people aren't ready to hear. Your thoughts are not just internal noise. They are electrical instructions. Every belief you hold, conscious or subconscious, acts like a line of code. Your self-worth, code. Your fear of failure, code. Your assumptions about relationships, money, love, trust, power, all code. And just like real code, they don't care if you wrote them intentionally or not. They run automatically, repeatedly, relentlessly, until you rewrite them. The subconscious, the silent coder. You may believe you're in charge of your life, but let me ask you this. Why do you repeat the same patterns in relationships? Why do you sabotage progress just as it begins to work? Why do certain people trigger the exact same insecurities over and over again? It's not random. It's resonance. Your subconscious, the silent architect of your world, is broadcasting a frequency 24/7. And the outer world? It's simply delivering results that match that signal. If deep down you believe you're not worthy of love, guess what you'll encounter? People who can't fully love you. If you secretly believe money is scarce, guess what you'll keep experiencing? Opportunities that almost, but never fully, land. Not because life is cruel, but because life is loyal, loyal to the code you're running beneath your awareness. Ancient truth, modern science. This isn't spiritual fluff. It's neuroscience, quantum physics, pattern recognition. Long before science had words for it, shamans knew this truth. They didn't wonder whether thought created reality. They knew it shaped the very fabric of it. And now even researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza and Grinberg Zilberbaum confirm, your consciousness doesn't just observe your reality, it literally projects it. Your identity isn't a reaction to life, it's a generator of it. When you understand this, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what within me created this? And what new code can I write now? The loop, how the code repeats. Let's break this down practically. You have a belief. That belief creates a filter. You only notice evidence that confirms that belief. That evidence reinforces the belief. The loop repeats. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And most people are stuck in loops written decades ago, often in childhood. For example, a child hears "you're too much." They grow up believing love is tied to being quiet. They become adults who silence themselves in relationships. Their partners seem distant, and the loop says, see? You really are too much. But here's the breakthrough. Once you see the code, you can rewrite it. And once rewritten, the loop dies. Not with resistance, but with awareness. 7. Identity is just familiar code. You may believe this is just the way I am, but what if that identity was just rehearsed programming? Let me be clear. You are not your trauma. You are not your coping mechanisms. You are not the role you play to keep others comfortable. These are not your essence. They are your armor. You picked them up to survive, to be accepted, to stay safe, but they are not your truth. And eventually armor becomes weight. At some point you have to ask yourself, is this belief still protecting me? Or is it preventing me? Is this identity serving me or sedating me? When you get honest with that question, the code begins to shift. Face fight, emotion, creative code, plus energy. You can't shift thought without shifting emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. It is the activation signal to the code you're running. A thought without feeling is weak. A thought charged with shame, fear, or grief, it's magnetic. It draws the matching experience to you like iron to a magnet. But flip the signal, charge your thoughts with gratitude, love, clarity, courage. You rewrite not only your nervous system, you start to reshape the field around you. Emotion isn't weakness, it's code in action. Your energy doesn't lie. 1. Resistance. The code's alarm bell. You'll know when the old code is dying. You'll feel resistance. Suddenly, you'll get triggered by things that used to feel normal. You'll feel tension in spaces that once felt like home. You'll feel impatient, even with yourself. That's okay. That's not failure. That's the old version of you glitching. It's the system noticing the shift. It's the matrix pushing back briefly because you're unplugging the loop. Hold steady. The resistance isn't asking you to stop. It's asking you to pay attention. X, you are the architect, not the actor. The greatest illusion is this. that you're just trying to keep up with life, that you're reacting to it. But in truth, you are the builder, the architect, the coder, the composer. Your reality doesn't just happen. It runs on your beliefs, your stories, your energy. When you shift those, your environment shifts, your relationships recalibrate, your timeline reshapes itself. You stop feeling like a leaf in the wind and start feeling like the wind itself. 11th, so how do you rewrite the code? Let's get practical again, because transformation isn't mystical, it's mechanical. To rewire your reality, observe without judgment. Notice where your reactions live, the triggers, the stories, the patterns. This is your source code. Interrupt the loop. Ask yourself, what would someone who is healed, confident, grounded do right now? Feel it fully. Don't bypass. Don't fake it. Let the emotion surface. Sit in it. Release it. Install a new code. Use present tense, identity-based statements. I am safe now. I am worthy without proving. My voice matters. Repeat them with emotion, not just repetition. Move differently. Embody the new belief in action. Speak up. Set a boundary. Show up. Every time you do this, your field recalibrates and reality reconfigures. 12th, your external world is always lagging behind. Here's one last insight. Reality has a delay. The world you're seeing today, it's not where you are, it's where you were. Your thoughts from last month, your energy from last year, they created the environment you're living in now. So if you start shifting today and you don't see instant results, don't panic. That's not failure. That's momentum. Just keep broadcasting the new frequency. Life is listening. It's just still catching up. Conclusion. You were never just a character. You are not here to be acted upon. You are here to code reality from within. Your thoughts, blueprints, your beliefs, architecture, your emotions, electricity. This is your interface with the matrix. Most people are living life as if someone else wrote the story, but you're starting to remember you were never just in the movie. You were writing the script. If this part resonated, type, I am the code. This isn't just a mantra. It's a new line of instruction, a vibration that rewrites the old loops. And if you keep showing up, part 3 will show up exactly when it's meant to. Not before, not after. Because this isn't content, it's a calling. Part 3, your frequency is your fate. It's not luck, it's not karma, it's the vibration you live in and the world responding in kind. IY energy isn't just. Woo, let's clear something up. When people hear frequency, they think crystals, incense, or some vague new age aesthetic. But energy isn't mysticism. It's physics. It's biology. It's everyday reality. You are vibrating right now, literally. Your heart sends out an electromagnetic signal measurable several feet away from your body. Your brain emits waves. Your cells communicate through frequency. Your entire life is conducted in resonance. And the world around you, it's not ignoring your signal, it's shaping itself around it. The inescapable broadcast. Let's pretend your inner world is a radio station. Every emotion, every belief, every self-thought you carry is a track being broadcast into the quantum field. 24/7. You may be smiling on the outside. You may be saying all the right things. But the universe doesn't respond to appearances. It responds to frequency. So if you're carrying guilt underneath your gratitude, the results won't lie. If you're forcing optimism over unprocessed pain, your signal will be mixed. If you're affirming abundance while vibrating scarcity, the frequency wins every time. Because the signal you send out is the experience that returns. Third life doesn't respond to desire, it responds to state. We've been told to visualize, affirm, and manifest. And while all those tools work, they're secondary. Here's the core truth most skip. It's not what you want that shapes your life. It's what you're a vibrational match for. Wanting love while radiating self-abandonment won't attract a healthy partner. Wanting peace while operating from fear won't create stability. Wanting wealth while vibrating unworthiness will keep you broke, even if you work hard. Desire doesn't create, state does. Your baseline frequency, how you move, breathe, think when no one's watching, that's what tells the universe what you're really ready for. Fourth, emotional states are magnetic. Everything is frequency, but emotion is charged frequency. Emotion acts like an amplifier, a magnet, a sculptor. Every single day, your emotional state is programming your external reality. Let's break that down. Living in a state of gratitude, life becomes fertile ground. People soften. Opportunities appear. Living in a state of resistance, even the simplest things feel hard, closed, unreachable. Living in a state of curiosity, you notice, you expand, you draw insight from even the smallest moments. Living in a state of shame, you shrink, you sabotage. You interpret kindness as a threat. It's not magic, it's resonance. V, the unseen cost of unconscious frequency. So many of us are unconsciously vibrating patterns we never chose. You're not lazy. You were raised in an energy field of survival. You're not broken. You inherited frequencies of silence, pain, or scarcity from generations before. Most of what's shaping your reality didn't start with you, but it's still yours to transform, because the universe doesn't wait for you to mean well. It mirrors your most dominant signal, even if that signal is ancient, inherited, and unspoken. This is why healing matters, because healing isn't emotional indulgence, it's frequency calibration. 6. You already know this, intuitively. Ever walk into a room and feel the tension, even if no one's speaking? Ever meet someone and instantly feel safe or guarded? That's frequency. You already feel it. You already use it. You already interpret life through energetic cues. The only difference now is you're learning to become intentional with what you broadcast. You're learning to choose your inner climate before you step into the outer world. 7. Resistance is resonance in reverse. Here's something wild. Most resistance in your life is not punishment. It's just misalignment. If life feels heavy, chaotic, or overwhelming, chances are your inner signal is unclear. You're not being tested, you're being mirrored. That delay, a message to slow down and realign. That argument, a mirror to the frequency you've been ignoring. That missed opportunity, not rejection, just misresonance. The universe doesn't punish. It doesn't reward. It reflects. So if you don't like what you're seeing, tune the dial, adjust the frequency. 8. Matching vibration versus forcing outcomes. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. Don't chase outcomes. Match frequencies. You don't manifest peace by begging for peace. You manifest peace by becoming calm. You don't manifest confidence by pretending to be powerful. You become magnetic when you're integrated, when your inner world no longer needs to perform. The more aligned you are internally, the less you need to manipulate anything externally. You stop forcing. You start attracting, not by demand, but by resonance. The 9th, your vibration filters, your perception. The state you're in determines what you notice and how you interpret it. Let's say you're in a low state. A compliment feels suspicious. A missed call feels like abandonment. An opportunity feels like a trap. Same world, different filter. But shift your state, that same compliment lands with warmth. The missed call becomes a non-event. The opportunity excites you. Reality isn't fixed. It's filtered by your frequency. So if you want the world to feel different, change your emotional posture. The landscape may be the same, but the view shifts entirely. X. Gratitude, the great tuner. If you want a powerful place to start recalibrating your field, begin with gratitude. Not the performative kind, not the checklist in your planner. Real gratitude, the kind that brings tears to your eyes for a simple cup of tea, makes you pause because the sun hit your skin just right, makes you look at a friend, a stranger, or even your own hand, and feel awe. Gratitude isn't just a virtue, it's a frequency tuner. It pulls you out of lack, panic, and separation, and aligns you with presence, possibility, and peace. 11th, triggers as frequency. Clue's one of the most advanced practices in this journey, seeing your emotional triggers as frequency markers. A trigger is not evidence that you're broken. It's evidence that a piece of code inside you is still alive. When someone ignores you and you spiral into anxiety, that's a frequency loop. When a project gets delayed and you implode with self-doubt, that's a signature vibration asking to be healed. Instead of suppressing the feeling or blaming the situation, ask, what is this moment revealing about the frequency I'm living in? Because every emotional spike is not a failure. It's a frequency flare. 12th, the frequency of deserving. Let's go deeper. One of the most hidden energetic patterns shaping your life is your sense of worthiness. You attract not just what you want, but what you believe you deserve. That's why two people with the same skill set can experience entirely different realities. One quietly repels opportunities without knowing why. The other walks into the room like they belong, and doors open. Because the frequency of deserving isn't in your resume. It's in your field. It's in how you take up space, how you breathe, how you receive. You cannot fake it. You must embody it. 13th, integration. Living your frequency. This is where it gets real. You're not here to know this stuff. You're here to live it. It's not about saying I'm aligned. It's about waking up and checking your emotional tone before your notifications. Noticing when your mind drifts into panic and bringing it back to presence. Recalibrating through music, movement, or silence when the field gets noisy. Listening to your inner climate more than outside voices. It's about training your nervous system to become a match for what you say you desire. Not once, consistently. 14, choose the station, then live on it. Here's the metaphor that ties it all together. Imagine life as a radio. Fear, that's AM static. Love, FM clarity. Trust, crystal clear. You don't have to earn the signal. It's already broadcasting. You just have to tune in. And the dial, it's not outside of you. It's in your thoughts, your breath, your posture, your presence. Every moment is a chance to switch frequencies. So ask yourself, what channel am I living on today? What energy am I feeding right now? What song is playing through my body, my emotions, my life? You can't fake the tune, but you can always change it. Conclusion. You're not the weather. You're the climate. Most people treat their emotions like weather. Unpredictable, chaotic, random. But when you tune your frequency, you stop reacting to storms. You start setting the climate. You become the atmosphere. And the world, their walk, the meetings, the moments, the miracles, begins to organize around you. If you're starting to feel it, say it out loud or write it down. My frequency is my fate. Because from this point on, you're not chasing alignment. You're living in it. You're not praying for signs. You're becoming the signal. And when your vibration becomes consistent, reality will have no choice but to match you. Part 4, synchronicity, the universe's language. It's not coincidence, it's code. The glitch that grabs you. You know the feeling. A number shows up again and again. 1111, 444, 333. A lyric plays that speaks directly to your situation. A stranger says exactly what you were just thinking. You think of someone and they text. And in that moment, you pause. Just long enough to wonder, wait, did that mean something? Yes, it meant everything. Because synchronicity isn't randomness. It's the universe talking back. 2. What synchronicity really is. Let's break it down. Synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence, one that defies logic but speaks to your soul. It's not luck. It's not wishful thinking. It's the exact moment when your internal world and the external universe fall into rhythm, like instruments in a divine symphony. Carl Jung, who coined the term, called it the causal connecting principle. But you don't need psychology to recognize it, because when it happens, you feel it. Goosebumps, silence, stillness, a sense of this isn't random, because it isn't. Third life speaks in symbols. We've been trained to expect the universe to speak in logic, in words and facts, but that's not how divine intelligence communicates. The universe doesn't use punctuation. It uses pattern. It sends signs through music, numbers, dreams, echoes, repetition. It doesn't speak English. It speaks energy. And those who are tuned in, those who live from presence, are the first to understand its language. You don't decode synchronicity with intellect. You feel it with your entire being. Fourth, most people miss it. Here's the truth. Synchronicity is happening all the time, but most people are moving too fast, too distracted, too numb to notice. We scroll, we overthink, we fill the silence with noise, and in doing so, we drown out the whispers. Synchronicity isn't loud. It doesn't interrupt you. It waits. And when your internal world slows down enough, when your presence becomes still enough, that's when it speaks. And once you hear it, really hear it, you'll never live the same way again. The algorithm of alignment. Think of synchronicity as the cosmic algorithm, except instead of optimizing for likes or clicks, it's optimizing for your growth, healing, and awakening. The more you align your inner world through clarity, truth, intention, the more the universe begins to arrange the outer world around you. Right place, right time, right person, right moment. And it always feels impossible to plan, but impossible to ignore, because it's not logic, it's living geometry. Your frequency emits the query. The universe delivers the match. Sixth, the synchronicity spectrum. Synchronicity isn't always sweet or comforting. Sometimes it comes as a pattern of pain. You keep attracting the same type of partner. The same lesson keeps showing up in different jobs. The same emotional spiral keeps repeating in different seasons. This too is synchronicity, but it's not a punishment. It's a pattern asking to be broken. If life keeps circling the same message, it's not because you're cursed, it's because you're ready to graduate. Synchronicity in this case isn't a wink, it's a wake-up call. 7. You can't force synchronicity, but you can invite it. Synchronicity is like a cat. It won't come when called, but if you sit quietly, it finds its way to you. You don't summon synchronicity through effort. You attract it through alignment. When your energy field becomes still, when you operate from truth, not performance, the signs appear on their own. That book that falls off the shelf, that quote that lands in your feed, that new friend who mirrors your journey perfectly. This is not magic, it's magnetism. Aid, how to recognize the real ones. Not every coincidence is a synchronicity, so how do you tell? Here's the difference. Synchronicity carries emotion. It stops you, pulls you, feels like a message directly addressed to you. It speaks in a language only your soul understands. It doesn't just happen, it resonates. And often it comes right before or after a personal shift. You let go of an old belief. You speak a deeper truth. You finally listen to your inner voice. And then, boom, the sign appears. The connection clicks. The path lights up. It's the universe saying, yes, that's the way. Record, reflect, receive. One of the most powerful ways to honor synchronicity is to track it. Keep a journal, a voice note, a file on your phone. Every repeating number, every unexpected alignment, every dream that felt too vivid to forget. The more you track, the more you'll see the pattern behind the pattern. You'll begin to spot a hidden intelligence moving through your timeline. You'll realize you were never making random decisions. You were being guided all along. X dreams, numbers, and symbols. Let's talk mechanics. Repeating numbers. 1111, 222, 555. Wake-up codes, signposts, checkpoints on the journey. Dreams, access points to the subconscious, a language of archetypes and revelation. Animal totems, feathers, coins, grounding signals. Energetic breadcrumbs. Glitches in time, feeling like time is looping, speeding up, or standing still. That's vibrational thinning, a shift in dimension. All of these are real, not because they hold power, but because you are waking up to the fact that you do. 11th, silence sharpens the signal. Want more synchronicity? Turn down the noise. Because the deeper the silence, the louder the signs. Practice stillness daily, briefly, consistently. Close your eyes. Breathe into your belly. Let go of the need to interpret. And just listen. You'll be surprised how fast the universe responds when you stop filling every space with words, tasks, or worries. The signal is always broadcasting, but your reception is determined by your stillness. 12th intuition, the receiver of synchronicity. If synchronicity is the broadcast, intuition is the receiver, and most of us have trained ourselves to ignore it. We overanalyze. We dismiss gut feelings. We prioritize logic over inner knowing. But here's the truth. Your intuition knows before your mind catches up. It speaks in sensations, images, subtle nudges, and when you follow it, synchronicity increases, flow returns. Life becomes less like a checklist and more like a conversation. You stop feeling like you're guessing. You start trusting the rhythm. 13. The universe rewards momentum. The more you act on subtle guidance, the more guidance shows up. You say yes to your soul once, and the universe brings a whisper. You say yes again, and it brings a sign. You say yes again, and suddenly a door appears where there was only wall. Synchronicity builds momentum, but it requires courage, because the signs don't always come with full instructions. Sometimes they just say, go left, and if you follow, everything changes. 14th synchronicity as initiation. There are certain synchronicities that are initiatory. They don't just confirm your path, they change you forever. Meeting someone and feeling like you've known them across lifetimes. Reading a sentence that rearranges your soul. Standing in a place that feels eerily familiar, like you've been there in another life. These aren't accidents, they're thresholds. And when they happen, pause. Don't rush, breathe it in. Something sacred is crossing through you. 15th, trust the timing. Timing is part of the language. That delay, perfect. That detour, essential. That breakup, a release disguised as pain. The universe does not run on your calendar, it runs on readiness. When your signal is clear, the timing becomes precise. And the more you trust that, the less you'll panic when things fall apart. The more you'll see the perfection in the pause. The deeper you'll trust that your desires aren't denied, only deferred until you're truly aligned. Conclusion, you are becoming the signal. In the beginning, synchronicity feels like magic, but eventually you realize you're not just receiving the message, you are the message. You are the frequency that summons the pattern. You are the sacred code the universe responds to, and that's the ultimate shift. You stop chasing signs. You become one. You stop begging for direction. You walk with certainty, because the universe doesn't speak in full sentences. It speaks in alignment, and the more aligned you become, the more your life becomes one long, unbroken, beautiful conversation with the divine. If you've been seeing signs, if your life is starting to speak back to you, type, I trust the timing. And remember, the next sign won't be random. It will arrive at the exact moment you're ready, just like this one did. Part 5. Awareness is the real superpower. You don't change your life by force. You change it by seeing what was always there. What if you've had it backwards? You've spent most of your life trying to fix what's out there. The job, the partner, the schedule, the body, the balance in your bank account, as if the world outside was the source of your suffering or your salvation. But what if the world outside is just a mirror? What if it doesn't respond to what you want, but to what you are aware of? Because here's the truth. Awareness isn't passive, it's creative. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. Second, awareness, the root source of all change. Forget willpower. Forget manifesting hacks. Forget vision boards. If there's one thing that creates lasting transformation, it's awareness. Not action without presence, not thinking harder, not repeating affirmations you don't believe. Just the clear, focused recognition of, that's the belief that's been running my life. That's the fear I've been disguising as logic. Ah, that's not truth. That's programming. Awareness doesn't require struggle. It requires witnessing. And what you witness begins to shift. Because awareness brings light to the dark, and nothing untrue can survive in the light for long. The trap of habitual identity. We all have a version of ourselves we perform. You might call it realism, or personality, or just who I am. But often it's not truth, it's pattern. The sarcasm you use to hide vulnerability, the ambition you use to outrun unworthiness, the selflessness you use to avoid abandonment, the busyness you use to avoid silence. None of this is bad. It was your protection. But when you're finally safe, those patterns become prisons. And the only way out? Awareness. Because until you see it, you'll repeat it. But once you see it, you get to choose. Fourth, awareness turns triggers into teachers. Let's talk about emotional triggers. Most people see them as problems. But what if they were portals? What if every trigger is a map, pointing not to something wrong with you, but to something ready to be healed? That jealousy, a buried dream, that anger, a broken boundary, that fear, an inherited story that no longer fits. Triggers don't come to destroy you. They come to reveal you. And awareness turns those moments from breakdowns into breakthroughs. V, you can't heal. What you deny suppression is not strength. Avoidance is not mastery. If you want a different life, you have to feel what you've been avoiding. Why? Because the emotions you suppress don't disappear. They distort. They live in your tone, your posture, your decisions, your relationships. They become the hidden architects of your vibration. But when you bring awareness to them, you stop reacting unconsciously. You stop projecting old wounds. You stop living in loops, because what is felt fully no longer controls you. Sixth, attention is power. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And most of us, let's be honest, have been feeding the wrong signals. We feed drama, doubt, scrolling, worry, overthinking. And then we wonder why we feel exhausted, uninspired, and disconnected. Awareness is the discipline of redirecting attention, but not forcefully, but consciously. Every time you return to breath instead of panic, you're shifting the entire field. Every time you choose gratitude over resentment, you're rewriting the code. And every time you simply observe instead of react, you're reclaiming power from your past. Seventh, awareness versus judgment. Let's be clear, awareness is not the same as judgment. Judgment says, I shouldn't be feeling this. Awareness says, I am feeling this. Let me see why. One tightens the pattern, the other liberates it. You don't need to fix everything inside you. You just need to be present with it. And presence itself begins to soften, dissolve, and transform what's been frozen. The power of naming. There's a reason ancient traditions believed in the sacredness of names. To name something is to reveal it. And when you name your patterns with compassion, not critique, they start to lose their hold. This is the voice of my inner child, afraid to be abandoned. This is my mother's scarcity voice, not mine. This is not intuition. This is fear dressed up as logic. Name it, not to blame it, but to witness it. Because awareness doesn't need permission. It just needs presence. Ninth, awareness changes time. When you're not aware, time rushes past you. You miss the moments. You live in autopilot. But awareness slows time down. You taste the food. You feel the hug. You hear the music. You notice the pattern before it hijacks your day. The present moment becomes alive. And in that aliveness, you return to your power. Because power doesn't live in the past. And it doesn't exist in the future. It only ever lives here. X, conscious creation starts with observation. People talk about conscious manifestation, but conscious is the operative word. Because you can only manifest what you are fully aware of. You can't create a peaceful life from a chaotic nervous system. You can't magnetize love while ignoring your own abandonment wound. You can't manifest abundance if you're constantly in avoidance. This isn't criticism, it's freedom. Because when you bring awareness to these inner contradictions, they begin to reconcile. You stop trying to manifest from the mind and start aligning through the body. 11th, how to practice awareness in daily life. Let's ground this. How do you build the muscle of awareness? 1. Name your state. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Not why, just what. Second, pause before reaction. Can you create 3 seconds of space before your habitual response? 3. Use your breath as a gateway. Every inhale is a moment to return. Every exhale is a release. 4th, journal from the observer. Instead of I'm broken, try part of me is scared right now. That's okay. Practice micro-noticing. Sounds, sensations, breath, tension. These are entry points. Remember, awareness doesn't mean overanalyzing. It means showing up. Gently, truthfully, fully. 12th, awareness rewrites the body. Your body is not just a vessel, it's a resonator. And when you increase awareness, you begin to notice where you hold stress, where you shrink your posture, where your voice changes based on who you're with. These aren't random. They're frequencies, body codes. And through conscious awareness, you can release decades of emotional residue. Tears may come, shivers, yawns, lightness, stillness. This is embodiment. This is the healing of not just thought, but tissue. 13th, awareness as your inner compass. You'll know you're truly living from awareness when you no longer need validation, just clarity. You trust your intuition over noise. You notice signs without chasing them. You make decisions from inner calm, not outer pressure. Awareness becomes your compass. It doesn't predict the future, but it keeps you in alignment with it. And alignment, more than ambition, is what creates a life of grace. 14th, the silent revolution. Most transformation is invisible. It happens in the moment you pause instead of spiraling, in the moment you choose a different thought, in the second you soften into presence rather than reacting. These may not look impressive on the outside, but inside, you're reprogramming the universe, because every internal shift sends a new frequency into the field. Every act of awareness plants a seed, and eventually, your external world catches up. 15. You are already the light. This entire journey, from frequency to awareness, from signal to synchronicity, isn't about becoming something new. It's about becoming what you already are, without distortion. And awareness is the tool that strips away the noise. You don't have to try harder. You just have to look honestly. Because when you finally stop running, when you stop seeking someone or something to save you, you realize you've been the answer all along. You've been the light behind the fog. You've been the awareness waiting patiently to be remembered. Conclusion: you're not a seeker. You're a seer. You didn't come here to find something. You came to remember. You came to witness. You came to become so fully present that the illusion of separation dissolves. And from that presence, you begin to live a life of rhythm, clarity, power, peace. Because you're no longer living by chance. You're living by awareness. And awareness, it's not just your superpower. It's your true self. If this resonated, close your eyes for 10 seconds. No words, no affirmation, no doing, just awareness. Then, if you're called, type, I am the awareness. This isn't an ending, it's a beginning. Because from here on out, your thoughts aren't just thoughts, they're design. Your emotions aren't just feelings, they're field feedback. Your awareness is no longer passive, it's the code your universe is waiting for.